Yes, Leonard Oakes Farms has been in business since 1918, and it was Leonard Oakes, my grandfather, that purchased that land. He grew tomatoes, apples, and chickens, and at his passing in 1951, my father took it over. My brother currently runs the farm. We have about 300 acres planted of different fruit at this point, our main crop being apples. Planted the vineyards in 2003. We started with 16 different varietals to see what would grow, and all but 2 grew. We got into this the auspices of trying to attract another generation back to the farm. I think you'd speak to just about anybody on the Niagara Wine Trail. How do you make this a business that other people are going to want to take over for you? Because there are very few wineries in New York State, actually, that didn't start off as a family business. So how do you develop those business skills and then parlay them into each person's responsibility and make them all sing together? I see more and more people moving to this region for 2 reasons. Because they're seeing what we can produce here, both on the U.S. side and on the Ontario side. And the land is still relatively inexpensive compared to other regions, other viticultural regions in the world. And we are really showing that we can grow world-class wines. New York State wines are known for their acidity, which makes them excellent at pairing with food in general. One thing we try to do in the tasting room is to have food available so people can try different wines that normally they would not try. They see a residual sugar at 0.3%. I can't do that, it's too dry for me, I'm used to drinking these other wines. By showing them what you can pair these wines with and really show the true nature of how wine, food, and friends all fit together, it really makes it this enveloping experience for the people that come into the tasting room. Our Blushing Oaks goes really great with hot wings, anything that has a hot sauce to it, because that sugar will counteract that hot sauce. We have a Vignole, which no matter, again, where you are in your career of drinking wine, whether you're a dry vinifera or a sweet blush drinker, this stuff is pure pink grapefruit, peach, and pineapple. It is just lovely going over your tongue. Our Pinot Noir, unless you drink a lot of Pinot Noir, you are going to want it with food. You're going to want to try it with a little bit of chocolate or a little bit of cherry, something to go with it, a piece of meat of some sort, or a cheese that will pair very nicely with it. So, but these are all things that in the tasting room we try to educate the consumer that isn't necessarily been drinking a lot of wine, so that they can come to appreciate what wine is meant to be. One thing that Jonathan, our winemaker, who happens to be my nephew, he tries to achieve is balance in every wine. That adds to its complexity, and that is the key word in our wines. You will not come into our winery and have a one-note wine. We're concentrating quite heavily on reds, and a lot of people think we're crazy, but we think that there are a lot of reds that we can grow here in this region that will be memorable. Some of the things we never even considered are just blowing us away. We just are just...
What's blowing you away?
I can tell you there's this grape called Frontenac. It was developed by the University of Minnesota, and this is just an intense red. It's cold, hardy, 35 degrees below zero. We can't kill the bugger, and that's a wonderful thing. Grows like a wild vine. It's actually hard to control the growth. Our second vintage, we won a double gold at Finger Lakes International with it. This is going to prove to be a grape that will really help to set us on the map. And it's a hybrid. It is not vinifera. Our motto at the winery is think local, drink local. And our motto at the apple farm is always hand-packed and never waxed. So that tells you that it's coming directly from the farm. And I think that's so important in this day and age. The number of food miles that we're traveling. You know, this wine is not coming from Australia. This wine is coming from your backyard.